Yeah, I think right now with the way the VR is still in its infant stage, um, a lot of these developers are testing the waters, making stuff, seeing if what kind of reaction they get to it, so they kind
Mm,
of know which direction they need to go
yeah.
with the virtual reality. Um, I mean, we played that Vanishing Realms, which is an RPG where you actually swing the sword, use
Hmm.
your shield, and I think that's probably one of the best uses
Oh
of
yeah.
VR. Um, Another game we played was the one. It was a first-person shooter, but you didn't move; you just stayed stationary. I can't remember the name of that.
The zombie one,
Yeah.
the Brookhaven experience
Yes.
experiment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one. If they could incorporate movement into that game, that would be. I mean, I think that's kind of. I mean, virtual reality is putting you in the experience, and you can
Hmm.
only apply that. Well, you can apply that to basically any game, I guess, because that's the mission of a game
Yeah.
is to put you in that. Um,
Give you that experience.
yes, that you're actually doing that.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I think your first-person shooters will translate well, and I think it's just a matter of getting them out there, refining the controllers. Um, for the movement, not so much the aiming, because you're going to be doing the aiming, but they need to
Hmm.
get that movement um, figured out.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, I mean, that's where it needs to go, and I think they even made an adaptation of Grand Theft Auto into VR because with the with them
First
adding
person.
view, they were able to do that. So
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I mean, that's a game where if they put you in the game, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
You're driving, you're flying, you're, you know, walking around. I mean, that's the end game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For VR, that's putting you in there.
And you can do pretty much anything.
Yeah. So I think that's where they eventually need to be.
Mhm.
But I think it's just a matter of figuring out how to get there
Yeah.
without flopping.
Right.
So without investing a lot of time and money into these projects and then having them not translate to the VR as the people, the consumers expect, the experience to be on VR.
Yeah. Yeah. Because right now it's like I'm excited. I want them to make more and get more out there. But yeah, you're right. I don't want them to screw it up. So I guess it's good to take their time, put these demos out, figure out what works, to get the better product. Um, Tim Sweeney, creator of the Unreal Engine, just thought this was kind of interesting. He said that for photorealistic gaming, he thinks that we'll need 40 teraflops. Teraflops, that's your processing power. Just for an idea, the Project Scorpio, which comes out next year, it will have 6 teraflops. And the GeForce GTX 1080 processor, which just came out in May, has 9. So just kind of a cool discussion, I guess. Kind of have an idea of where we are. Um, but like you were saying before, we're pretty close to that. I mean, a lot of these games look great right now that they're coming out with.
Yeah. Like Call of Duty Black Ops 3 had the actor from Law and Order SVU.
Oh yeah.
As soon as I saw that character in the video game, I know who it was, and it looked just like him.
Yeah.
Could the graphics have been better? Yeah, but I mean, I easily could recognize it was him.
Hmm.
And that drew me into that campaign mode for Black Ops 3 until I beat the whole thing. I mean, I played it pretty solid until I beat the campaign.
Yeah.
I was really just impressed with the whole graphics and the whole cinemas. The gameplay was fun. Obviously, if the gameplay wouldn't have been fun, that wouldn't have kept me going. But
Right.
but there we are using actors readily, you know, visible or readily recognizable actors and actresses, and to get a game to be photorealistic, I mean, not every game is going for that. Sports, yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Games like where you are looking for that, that's great. But I think the thing about games is they're an artistic expression. So not every game is going to be shooting for that photorealistic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, you have games like Battleborn and Overwatch, which both have kind of a cartoonish style to them, but Overwatch is immensely popular, and it's not. It's more about the gameplay, where it's a fun game to play, addicting game to play, and it's not so much that it looks realistic. It's just fun and has its own art style at the same time. So
Yeah.
I hope the focus isn't shifted from creating an experience for the players as it is to getting the game to be the most realistic that it can be. Is that a bonus? Yes. Should that be the main focus? No. It should always be about the gameplay. Is the game fun? The graphics, I think, should always be the second, objective.
Right.
They shouldn't. You should have the core gameplay be what you want to draw the people into the game. Graphics are always icing on the cake, and sometimes they'll either get you to buy a game or not buy a game. I know. For me, a lot of the times I'll look at a game and if I don't like its artistic direction, I won't purchase it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can have really good gameplay, but if it doesn't strike me visually, then I just lose interest in it.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you that. But like with Borderlands, I know my dad, he never liked them because of the cell shading and the style that they took. And so I guess that can deter people, but I mean, that's one of the things I loved about it was, I guess it just depends on your preferences.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. He may have enjoyed the gameplay of it, but the visual appearance turned him away from it outright. So, but that's the thing, though. Borderlands was going for something that they had, a vision they had in mind. It wasn't photorealistic, and they did it. And, I mean, I can't wait for Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Love the Borderlands series. I mean, it's one that I've sunk an immense amount of time into. And if it was photorealistic, probably wouldn't work out as well.
No, I don't think so. And then a game like Battlefield, where obviously it's going to be as realistic as it can be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the gameplay has changed over the years, but the main thing is the graphics for that game, I think. It's a big part.
It's more, yes. The Battlefields are going for a realistic aspect, but they've always had that core gameplay. Locked down. So, for them, they've got the controls part down. So now for them to go for a more realistic graphics is, they're just refining what they've already, what solid game that they have out there. That's and changing the time period and adding different, adding zeppelins into the mix. I mean, just also their variety, I guess I should say. They dabbled in the cops and robbers thing with Hardline, and then they had a Battlefield that was set in the future, which didn't do well.
No.
I can't even remember the name. That was
2021 or something. I don't remember.
But it didn't do well.
No.
But yet that I mean, the core gameplay is always the same with the Battlefields, and that's what gets people coming back time and again.
Yeah.
Which is good. And then, so for this photorealistic gaming, this is exciting for people that are into those kinds of games, But you have a game like Counter-Strike that's built off the Half-Life 2 engine, which isn't, a real, pretty looking...
Right.
At the time it was.
Yeah.
But there again, it's the gameplay.
It's still huge.
Yes. Oh, it's, just as popular now. It might be even peaking in its popularity.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, but it's about the gameplay. It's not about the graphics. I mean, they're using an old graphics engine, but, and I think that's what I hope that the games don't get away from. They don't try to concentrate so much on being pretty as they do as being fun to play.
Mm-hmm. I mean, heck, Counter-Strike has been on TBS for, I can't remember the past how many weeks, for that E-League that they just started, so.
Well, I mean, and that's, I mean, there you go. I mean, that's just a game, older game, bringing gaming into the limelight.
Yeah.
It's not about the graphics, it's about the gameplay. It's about players having fun playing it as long as they're winning. I've seen some of the reactions of the people that lose, they get pretty worried.
Yeah.
But, I think that's the main thing, is the gameplay over graphics.